Hey guys, and Hero here. Good news, everyone. I hit the first stage of YouTube Partner. That means that now on YouTube streams we could super chat, leave super thanks on videos, and even join members. Right now it's only $2.99 and you can enjoy some of my videos a day early. It won't be too many like that. Reviewing GPUs and building PCs costs money and I've been operating at a loss. It would be appreciated, but you don't have to, you don't want to.
If you got a problem, just give me a ring. I'll fix it with my speed. You get the hero guarantee, the one you can trust. With heavy drops in it, and heroes in the house, and we don't quit.
So, this is a first for the channel. I managed to get an Nvidia RTX 2060 SC for $80. It's a big boy, kinda like a chode. It's short, but it's girthy. I mean, triple slot. I've always wanted to get my hands on an RTX card, but a lot of them are still a bit too pricey for me. What better place to start than at the very bottom? Nvidia's first generation entry-level RTX card was launched in January 2019 with an MSRP of $349 USD. The launch price is still a bit steep, but that was for every GPU going forward, at least for Nvidia. However, if you wanted a GPU without the new features, they did have the 16 series. I wish they kept a budget GTX line along with the RTX cards. So RTX cards have two new main things on the GPU. Tensor cores to help with AI tasks, and for most users it would be for DLSS. Then we have the RT cores, the magical little thing that allows hardware ray tracing to happen, though first gen ray tracing wasn't really worth it unless it was a 2080 Ti or even an RTX 10, as these cards have more RT cores and more grunt to push the visuals. So, for the basics, we have ourselves 1920 CUDA cores, 240 Tensor cores, and just 30 RT cores. A base clock of 1365 MHz with a boost of 1680 MHz, as well as a memory clock of 1750 MHz on a 192 memory bit bus. As for VRAM, this version of the card comes with 6 gigs of it. Perfectly plenty for the time, as its predecessor, the GTX 1060, had 6 as well, and was the most popular card for years. Later on, there was a 12 gig version of the 2060 for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure it came out even while the 3000 series was out. Typically comes with a 1x8 pin power connector, and Nvidia recommends a 450 watt PSU, which to me sounds about right, as long as it has the right pins. Today's variant, as I said earlier, is the EVGA, God bless them, RTX 2060 SC, the single fan triple slot card. Like, that heatsink is beefy as hell. Like always, we'll be testing this card on the budget test bench. It's on an MSI Mag B550 Gaming Plus motherboard with a Ryzen 5 5600 with 16 gigs at 3200 MHz. Alright, first for the synthetic benchmarks. For 3D Mark, 5 Strike is 18,852. Time Spy scores 7,632. And Steel Nomad 1,692. And now for the gaming benchmarks. I didn't bother with comp settings this time around for Fortnite. If Epic Preset ran this well, then lower settings will run this game at high refresh rates, no problem. So in Cyberpunk, traditional rasterization produces good results with an over at 60 FPS average. Now, this is something I don't get to play with often. It's an RTX card, so let's turn on all the RT options. Set lighting to medium, turn off path, blah 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 blah. So in Cyberpunk, traditional rasterization produces good results with an over at 60 FPS average. Now, this is something I don't get to play with often. It's an RTX card, so let's turn on all the RT options. Set lighting to medium, turn off path tracing, and set DLSS to balanced, with reconstruction off. With that, 40 is decent to see. So, for GTA 5, I stuck with the Legacy version for now. I don't have enough SSD space to have too many big games, and I would have gotten a decent sized SSD for fuck, I don't know what I fucking wrote, and then I started speaking, and now I'm out of order. So for GTA, I stuck with the Legacy version for now. I don't have enough SSD space to have too many big games, and I would have to get another decent sized SSD for extra games, such as the enhanced version, and other newer games coming out. I'm a broke boy, but SSDs are not expensive, so this issue should be rectified, eventually. Now if you know Zorms, aka Crispy, he likes to test going into bushes and shrubbery, and I too did notice it dropped all the way down to the 30 FPS range. Otherwise, it ran perfectly fine. Alright, we all know how unoptimized Wilds is, but we use a bit of DLSS, we can get at least the average up to 50. Though we can also lower the settings too, but to be honest I just didn't think of it at the time. So, initially, Resident Evil 4 kept crashing when I tried ray tracing, but the tried and true method of restarting your PC fixed it. So when it did start working, it wasn't too much of a hit if you just use ray tracing preset. The game is usually pretty dark, but you'll notice when a light source is present. For Khazan, I'm very happy that the devs here really optimized the game, and it looks like it's targeting more older hardware for its minimums, as well as mid-range options as well for its recommended. Other than that, I did enjoy this game. I'm slightly disappointed it was closer to a Souls-like, but I wish Khazan went closer to its roots of Dungeon Fighter Online, and went with a very combo-heavy, stylish combat that goes on and on till you drop the combo. For Zenless Zone Zero, honestly that 1% low can be attributed to my hard drive, otherwise it doesn't get too in the way of gameplay. I just really wanted to mention that quickly. Sorry, I couldn't do too many ray tracing benchmarks, as I don't have too many games that have that option, and the 2060 doesn't have enough grunt for it. The 2060 is a 1080p card that can play most games at high settings, typically achieves 60 FPS in most titles. The prices for this card are dropping, and you can usually find them at alright prices, typically around $150 or so. I got a bargain price with this at $80. DLSS helps this card out, and if you feel like using ray tracing you could probably take some nice screenshots, but playing for any extended amount of time is kinda iffy. An additional bonus is that it supports DX12 Ultimate, so you're able to play most of the newest games no problem, that give even high-end older cards problems due to its feature issues. Let me know down below if you've ever had this card and how well it served you. I'm ManHero, something of a virtual YouTuber myself. Like if you like, and dislike if you don't, or just hate me. Subscribe for more, or if you're just masochistic. See you next time. Bye bye.
that platinum chain with them diamonds in it? Where'd you get that Magnum Benz with them windows tinted? Who them girls you be with when you be riding through? Man, I ain't got nothing to prove. I paid my dues, breaking the rules and shake fools while I'm taking the cruise. Tell me who's your weed man and how do you smoke so good? You's a superstar, boy. Why you still up in the hood? What in the world is in that bag? What you got in that bag? A couple of cans of whoop ass you didn't